and I was breathing pretty hard. I could tell it was going to be a difficult one for me.
Hello and welcome to the Law of Attraction Secrets podcast. I'm here today in the home of a very unique human, someone who is exceptionally inspirational. He holds the world record for the #1 epigenetic age reversal. He is someone who has brought his age down by tremendous amounts. He has the most incredible protocols. And today we have the privilege of not only tasting some of the food, experiencing the environment, and being around this person who has achieved so much in his life, not only in entrepreneurship. He sold his company for almost $1 billion. He has also created some wonderful things that will help you in your life to achieve more, help you to bring down your own biological age. And I'm definitely on that mission, as many of you know, after my own health issues in the past. So today we welcome to the show, Bryan Johnson.
That was incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was so good.
Off the cuff.
Yeah, amazing.
Thank you.
I don't know what to say about that. Hi.
Hi. It's so nice to meet you.
I'm so glad you're here.
I'm so happy to be here. You're a very wonderful human. And from the time I've spent with you so far, you're very kind. And I think today's going to be really special to teach the people who are listening today to this show, and maybe for many more years, something that they don't know.
I hope so.
Me too. So I'd like to go to a fun one first. Tell me a story that perhaps your family would tell about you. Something great, funny.
So I need to think about this a bit more, but one that comes to mind, maybe I'll share it. I used to do triathlons, and I was running, we were on the run portion of the competition, and I was trying to maintain a 5 minute 50-second pace on the 10K version of it. And I reached the first mile marker and I met that time, and I was breathing pretty hard. I could tell it was going to be a difficult one for me. And I ran past this person, and he was well-intentioned, but he said, "Hey man, slow down, you're breathing too hard." And I remember thinking, I was, I think, 23 at the time. I remember thinking, like, over my dead body, am I going to stop at the goal I'm trying to achieve, no matter how badly it hurts, no matter what I have to do?
Wow.
And his comment gave me so much more energy to actually complete it. So I actually did get my goal. I just remember feeling incredibly motivated by the observation someone else was making, that I was doing something that I wouldn't be able to accomplish. I don't know why that is, but I found it to really be motivating. So I do find I'm attracted to pain and overcoming pain, because all things I value are on the other side of pain.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's actually a really great place to dive into, because we don't grow through the comfort. We don't grow in the good times. We grow from the discomfort, which is sad, but we do. We grow from the pain. We grow from when we put ourselves through positive stress in the body and stressful scenarios you're going to grow through.
Yeah.
They say you grow what you go through, right?
That's right.
You grow through what you go through.
Yes, that's very true. So I guess, like, obviously there's some pain we want to avoid that's unnecessary, but generally speaking, I think if most of us look at our lives, the things which we would value the most have been when we've pushed through discomfort and challenges and difficulty, and we've somehow overcome self. And I think I now search it out when I find a little pocket of pain. I think, oh, this is a treasure chest. What's on the other side of this?
Wow. Have you ever been through any of your own health challenges in your life?
I mean, in my entire life, yeah, it's been like kind of one thing after another.
Wow.
I mean, it all came to a head about 10 years ago. I was chronically depressed, 60 pounds heavier than I am now. I was in a bad relationship, had 3 little babies. I was running startups, and I just doing everything bad to my own body. And it just was a miserable existence. And if it wasn't for the kids, I probably would have committed suicide. I understand, like, suicide is an absolutely reasonable thought process to difficulties. I understand when people do it. I understand when they think about it. I understand it because I've had those same thought patterns. And so, yeah, I mean, dealing with that on a daily basis, it's a difficult one to separate yourself from this depressive state that is omnipresent and feel like there's a way out of it.
Yes. Well, I remember from my own struggles and traumas that I went through in my life, I remember being suicidal in my worst, because when you have a health issue, you actually lose who you are. You lose who you are. And I call it, you lose your full sparkle. So right now I'm at full sparkle, you're at full sparkle, and we wake up feeling rejuvenated because of how we take care of ourselves. But when you have a health issue, you lose that.
Yeah.
So you start to decline and you lose your sparkle, and it's so depressing. So I remember battling that, and it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, being human is very hard. Like, it's extraordinarily hard. I mean, I think we spend our entire existence, like, all of us are here. I don't recall asking to be here. I just showed up. I'm conscious, and we basically spend our waking consciousness trying to avoid discomfort, the discomfort of being conscious.
Yes.
As we battle all life's difficulties, from hunger and from challenging relationships to difficulties at work to all the unpleasantries. So yeah, I mean, the honest recognition that it's really hard to be human, I think, is a nice starting point for me.
I love that. Okay, so being human goes above and beyond now just living and existing. Yeah. For you, you have the most sensational way of living through your blueprint. I would love to start there and hear more about, how did you even find the blueprint? What is the blueprint? And why is it so positively impactful in someone's life? Because, okay, let's take it, for example, with you. Your biological age now is what?
Hundreds of different ages. Like, my diaphragm is 18.
Oh.
My left ear is 16. My heart's 37.
That's possible?
So hundreds of ages throughout my entire body.
Oh, is that why when I do some tests, it says like 2 years younger than the other one says 6 years younger? And
I mean, sometimes if you do epigenetic age or other things that look at aggregate, but yeah, if you look at your body, your eyes and your lungs and your heart and your pancreas and your liver, they'd all have different age profiles.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about the blueprint, and then I want to hear how you literally have the world record for reversing your age the most. Like, that's the coolest achievement ever. It's like a mission I'm on. I'm starting this now. I'm 33, and I want to go back to 25. I want to stay there. I want to be super hit, fit and healthy.
Yeah. Let's do a thought experiment.
Yeah.
Let's say people in the 25th century are talking about the 21st century, the time you and I occupy, and they're ruminating and they're marveling at something we did in the early 21st century that changed the course of human history.
Okay.
What is it? And the answer, I think, is we figured out how to dramatically slow and or neutralize our aging.
Yes.
Because right now, if we think about our technology and we say, how good is technology going to be in 20 years?
Yeah.
We say better, and a lot better. We're accustomed to our technology getting better fast.
Yeah.
If we say, what are you and I going to be like in 20 years? We just assume on a decay and decline curve. Now, we want to slow it down, but we just assume we're on our path to death.
Yes.
So what if we could improve ourselves at the speed of technology? And so in 20 years from now, we say, what are you and I going to be? We don't know. Some kind of superhero. We don't know what kind, but we as humans, all of us, are progressing at the speed of technology and science. And so Blueprint is basically a contemplation of, in the early 21st century, what is possible in our time and place. And the hypothesis is, if we tether ourselves to technology and science, we could begin improving ourselves at the speed of technology and science. And it would transform our relationship with ourselves, where we wouldn't assume inevitable decay, decline, and death. We would assume we would be able to improve ourselves at the speed of technology.
Wow.
And if we do that, we may think about ourselves very differently, about each other, about our lives, about war, about peace, about what we want as a species. Really the next level in human evolution.
It is the next level. But I think a lot of people get caught in today's world of not looking beyond here, right now, this moment. And good, you want to live in the present moment, but you want to also plan ahead, don't you? Want more like hours with your children, more days, more months. I always say, if I could learn to gain, if I could get all the knowledge and put it into my body, implement it in the right way, bring my biological age down and gain an extra 50 years, if I could get an extra 50 years, within that 50 years, I could gain another 500.
That's right.
Potentially.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly right.
So you want to imagine you could be the first person who's 550 years old.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So in the 20th century, a person, it would be reasonable for them to say, I'm going to spend 40 or 50 years of my life being debaucherous and drinking and partying and doing all bad stuff because I want to do that and live great and not live 70, 80 years and not do those things. In the 21st century, where we live now, the wise thing is don't die.
Yeah, the way.
Like you really, like the future of humanity may be better than any part of human history you don't want to miss out. And so the science is here. Take care of yourself right now and don't put yourself on the inevitable. It may not be inevitable. So really, like it makes a lot of sense for someone to invest heavily right now in self.
Absolutely. And you've done millions of dollars in your health and reversing your biological age. What's the blueprint? And just before we go into the blueprint, have you thought about freezing your body after,
I have, yeah. The technology is pretty primitive.
Right?
I'm not sure it's going to work.
I know. I'm not sure it's going to work yet either.
Yeah.
If somebody doesn't actually learn how to bring the organs back to life and the brain and the soul and, this is a whole other topic. But tell us about your blueprint. It's world famous. It's world renowned. It's being practiced all over. What I love about you is you make this technology and information available for free so everyone can implement and improve their life. Mm-hmm. So tell us more about your epic blueprint.
So it takes everything that we do today and turns it on its head. So we are accustomed to using our mind to go to the grocery store, picking what we're going to eat, the market, going to a restaurant, looking at the menu. So we use our minds to decide things. Yeah. And Blueprint flips it and it says, the mind is not invited to this party because the mind is the agent of self-destruction. I know when I give my mind freedom of choice, it behaves badly all the time.
Oh, yeah, mine too.
So it flips it. And so I said, okay, I'm going to measure every organ in the body. We're going to say, hey, kidney, liver, lungs. Yeah. What do you want to be your best self? They report out their data. And then we look at scientific evidence and we create a protocol. And then I follow that protocol. I said yes to it with precision. And now the idea behind this is, when certain things happen with technology, it makes the case for inevitability. So for example, when the washing machine or when the washer and dryer were created, no one was hanging out at the creek anymore to wash their clothes by hands because it could now be more efficient. When digital navigation systems showed up, nobody had maps in their lap. So sometimes technology does things that makes things better on so many ways, and it just runs through society. It doesn't matter if some humans are upset. It doesn't matter if people are like, this is going to change everything. It just goes through society. And what I think we've demonstrated with Blueprint is we built an algorithm that takes better care of me than I can myself.
Beautiful.
And in that case, I've opted in to say yes. Now, a lot of people look at that and they say, that's dystopic. That's like, if I can't use my mind to decide this or that, I don't know why I exist. Very common and expected responses to how humans have responded to technological innovation in the past. But to me, this is one of the most exciting things that could be shown in our time period is if an algorithm truly can take care of us better than we can ourselves, it levels us up into this new potential evolution that we've never had in our history. So Blueprint is an algorithm that is superior to what humans can do on their own to take care of human health.
So can I get it today and then test my own bloods and test my own organs and go through what they need and what will be good for them, and then how do I know what foods to eat, what diet to be on?
Yep. So Blueprint is basically an algorithm. So if you were to do the same process, you get every organ measured, every biological process, data would come out, scientific evidence would be referenced, then a protocol would be created for you, and then you follow that with precision. Never would your mind be able to say, I'm going to spontaneously choose to have a pizza party or a donut, or the mind is out. Because this is the thing that's really counterintuitive, exactly, is I know with me, when my mind has the freedom of choice, it makes the wrong decision every single time.
We were talking about this before. I was saying how people often say, oh, I'm going to have a treat today. My mom really was, before she got on her own health regime, she said, oh, let's go and have a nice snack as a treat. Let's have a donut. And I was raised like that. And I was like, no, that's terrible.
Yeah.
You know, that's what causes the inflammation in the body, which leads to autoimmune issues and etc. And that's what people think is a treat. It's not a treat.
Yeah.
A treat is like a green juice or a meditation or, you know, something that's good for your body.
Exactly right.
Do you ever have treats?
No, I don't.
Do you ever have a treat for your body, and what would that be? That's actually good, not for your mind, right? For your body.
A treat for my body. My son and I just did a 500-mile, 3-day adventure on motorcycles. It was so cool. It was extraordinarily hard and demanding and difficult. And so a treat for me was that I did that fully. I had all the energy I needed. I was robust in every capacity. I didn't get injured. And so a treat for me is that my body and my mind was capable of doing this thing.
Gosh.
And so that's, to me, is a treat. It's the reward for all the hard work that I get to perform at that physical level. And it was a very difficult track. It was very hard to do.
500 miles is a lot of mileage to cover. And I can only imagine, like, when I've sat on a motorbike before, it's really, you know, exhausting.
It's hard.
Body. It's a heavy piece of machinery.
So it'd be sad if I didn't have the physical and mental capacity to do these kinds of things that make me happy. And so instead of the pizza or the donut, I would rather do something like that.
And that again taps back into the pain, because you're almost leaning into something that's tough. Most humans can't do. Wow, interesting. Do you stick to a certain diet every day? Because I understand, but for the audience who haven't perhaps seen your documentary, and we'll put tags to one of your amazing documentaries below, the one I love in particular. So, okay, tell us about what you eat every day.
Yeah, so I have 2,000 calories every day.
Why that number?
It's 20% caloric restriction. So somebody my age, my activity level, the recommended daily allowance is 2,500.
Yeah.
And there's good science showing that if you reduce the caloric intake, your body has a favorable response of just slowing the speed of aging. And so it's 2,000 calories. And with that limited budget, every calorie has to fight for its life. So there's nothing in there that's nice to have. There's nothing that's trendy or cool or something. It's an absolute necessity. And then we can measure every single thing going into the body. So we can see it's input in, input out. So we see the efficacy. And so I have 2 meals that are the same every day, and then 1 meal that varies. I love my food. I can't even tell you how much I love my food. It is 2 of the same meals every day, the one that varies, but still, it's 70 pounds of vegetables a month. So it's a lot of vegetables. And
meat?
I don't eat meat.
Vegan?
Except for collagen peptides, which I'm trying to eliminate.
Wait, collagen peptides aren't vegan? How come? What are
they come from animal product.
Really? So no way, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get a vegan source. Now, it's important, I'm vegan by choice, not by necessity. So Blueprint says nothing, it does not express an opinion about anything. It just says we're going to measure the whole body, we'll look at scientific evidence, and we'll create this protocol. So we basically just follow the evidence. So I expressed a preference that I'd rather be vegan, and we wanted to see if this would work to achieve the markers. It does work. Wow. So it says nothing about meat, which I found is like a religious war in the world of the meat and the vegan people, which to me, you can't even talk sensibly about the topic because it spins up this religious stuff. But
what do you do for protein?
Lentils, pea protein.
Oh, so it is okay to have legumes and grains.
Yeah, I get 102 grams a day of protein.
Wow, specifically. What do you do when you travel and you have this strict diet? Because I know for me, I'm taking things with me, and unless you fly privately, it's like a nightmare. Yeah, I've gotten a lot better. So typically we'll go to a grocery store. I'll bring stuff with me, but then we'll go to the grocery store and buy some avocados and a few other things. But it's fine now. I can fill it in for a couple of days. Oh, okay. So you do have moments where it's like I can go slightly off topic and it's fine, off piece. That's right. So I'll get a few vegetables, avocados. Like it's just the gist of it. Roughly 2,000 calories. Yes. Of a certain vegetable profile. Yes, exactly. Do you eat vine fruits like tomatoes and grapes and peppers? Yes.
tomatoes and peppers, yes. Tomatoes are cooked with the proper chemical constitution. Grapes, no, they have a high glycemic index. So again, every calorie has to fight for its life. If it doesn't deliver the highest nutritional value possible, it's out. Yeah, so it's brutal in that regard, and I love it because it has such a high standard of input that it has to be in service of the entire body.
Amazing output.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. So have you stopped craving anything you used to eat once upon a time? Maybe you used to like chocolate.
Yes. Oh, so I love chocolate and I eat it every day.
I can eat chocolate?
Yes.
Oh, this is such great news.
Yeah, so it's 15 grams a day of 100% dark chocolate.
And it could be any brand, or you're very specific because you know which one doesn't have sugar, and I can't do sugar, so.
Yeah. So it's very specific. So if you think about this, chocolate is a good example of how I think about Blueprint generally. There's 5 layers to almost everything we do. So you could say chocolate's good for you. That may lead you to eat a Snickers bar because you're like, well, have some chocolate, might be good for me. But second layer is dark chocolate. Third is dark chocolate undutched. Fourth is dark chocolate undutched, tested for heavy metals. And fifth is dark chocolate undutched, heavy metals, and then high polyphenol count.
And that's the one you go for.
Right. And so
I'm
everything
gonna get the brand from you afterwards.
yeah. we're sourcing from around the world trying to create our own chocolate product because it's really,
I'm happy to be a guinea pig.
It's really, really hard to hit all those criteria. Same with extra virgin olive oil. But again, I think what I love about this is the algorithm forces this level of precision across the board. And every time my mind can intervene, it makes errors. It's always wanting to do this or that and to make this compromise or this cheat. And, in our discussion, like what do we want to achieve in this conversation? To me, the essence of Blueprint is certainly doing many good things for myself, but it was really around trying to stop self-destructive behaviors.
Yes.
As that's as powerful as any other anti-aging intervention.
Yeah, very important. So what's the future of Blueprint? Where do you see it in 5 years from now?
If there is an adoption where people say, I can see this algorithm is better than I am at taking care of my body, and people say yes to that, it's a baby step in this evolutionary advance of being human, where if we now are improving ourselves at the speed of technology and science, instead of continually committing self-destructive behaviors, making ourselves worse, it changes the essence of what it means to be human. And so to me, in 5 years, we really are at this critical place of the species. No generation of humans that have ever existed has had this opportunity. And it's so far beyond our imagination to understand. And so it's not really about being able to predict it, model it. It's about willing to say, I'm going to step into this future and I want to ride this wave. And to me, that's the most exciting thing is trying to truly understand where we're at and what's going on and stepping into this future and saying, yes, I want to play.
I love that. So just stepping into it and knowing it. Tell us about the Zeroth principle.
I'm obsessed about the future of existence.
Oh, so am I. Immortality is like my favorite thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's so exciting to.
So exciting.
Whenever I started thinking about it, I felt my brain bump up against my own limitations of intelligence and creativity. I could just feel myself hit this outer boundary, and it frustrated me that I was so constrained in my own intellectual capacity. And so one night I went to bed and I assigned my mind every night I assign my mind a problem. Yeah. And this night I said, could you please help me come up with a framework on how to think about the future that doesn't leave me stuck? And that night I came up with Zeroth principle thinking. And so the easiest way to explain this is talent hits the target no one else can. Genius hits the target no one can see.
Wow.
So for example, Einstein's special theory of relativity was a zeroth principle insight. So space and time have always been relative in the universe. He discovered it and moved us past Newtonian physics to this new version of physics. So it's zeroth principle thinking is finding things no one else can see. And that's really, to me, what the future is about, is artificial intelligence is changing the landscape of intelligence at a speed faster than humans have ever experienced. It's introducing these Zeroth principle insights and these moves of genius that changes the landscape and the game we're playing so fast. And so it's a way for us to basically, most humans have been able to exist and then model out their life and say, I'm going to grow up and be like this. And they assume the world's going to be the same when they do that in their lifetime. Whereas right now, you and I can't model out with confidence even 3 years from now or 5 years from now. And so it's a different way, it's a different mindset for us to say, we want to step into a future that we have no idea what it's going to be like because of the Zeroth principle light changes.
Absolutely. I just want to go back to that point that you said, like, before you go to bed, you give yourself a problem to work through. Is that from the Silver Ultramind technique? No.
I'm familiar with it now.
Gosh, that's amazing that you know. It's a method that's created by Dr. Silver many years ago, and it's a wonderful technique that's used by a lot of entrepreneurs. And you do it before bed. It's just amazing that you also do that naturally. And so I do something very similar. So I decide, okay, mind, as I'm falling asleep, give me the solution to this thing I'm thinking about that I really want to achieve, or how do I get it out of this problem that I want to solve? And then when you go through the alpha and the theta and into delta when we're asleep, that's where the magic's at. That's where it's going to start to solve that problem for you. And hopefully when you wake up, you feel inspired to go write it down or go and execute it. And you feel like, it's a brilliant way before you sleep. For sure. That's interesting. Do you use the power of your mind at all? I mean, the show's called Law of Attraction Secrets. So I always like to speak to people to see. And there's a great example of you using your mind before bed. And that's metaphysics, because you can't see that, right? It's just the power of your mind. Do you have any other things that you do, perhaps with or without knowing?
Yeah, I feel like if I generally quiet my mind, like if I move my mind away from decision making, if I don't let it be a loudspeaker, I'm generally better off. I guess it's counterintuitive because we think of our minds as our best tool in existence. If we encounter a problem, we assign it to our mind. I'm going to think it through, or I'm going to whatever. And the more I've done Blueprint, the more I've moved away from that. And the less I've valued it.
Interesting. Do you meditate? I've never heard you talk about meditation, breath work, or cold exposure. I want to go through each one of these things. Meditation is something I do every day and I love it. And it's really transformed my life. But you're very zen, but you were once probably a high level, like you're still high level, I mean like high stress level entrepreneur, you know. For anyone that doesn't know, you created and sold Venmo. And I've only just become American. I'm British, but I very much, I don't think we have Venmo there, but it's it's a very big, you guys know what Venmo is. So that's you. So you very much changed your thing. And was meditation, breath work a part of that ever?
Yes. Meditation, I think, is interesting because people hear meditation, and when they try to do it, they close their eyes, and all that happens is just rumination on thought after thought after thought after thought. And then they conclude, I'm terrible at meditation, and they assume other people are good at meditation. And so it creates, in my experience, a lot of net negative self-perceptions of people think, I can't get anything out of meditation. When I close my eyes, it's just nothing but chaos in my mind, and I can't quiet my mind. And so with my company Kernel, we built a brain interface that was measuring the brain. And I wanted to do this tongue-in-cheek thing where a March Madness-like competition. So every meditation school brings their best players. It's single elimination competition. And you have people compete using quantified brainwaves on their meditative practices to eliminate this uncertainty where everyone can talk a big game about meditation, but no one knows what's really happening because you can't measure it. So you could basically you can say like, I can run a 3-minute mile, and because no one can measure it, people think others are running 3-minute miles, which is just not true. So I guess I have stayed away from talking about things I can't measure. Because there's a disconnect versus what I can measure, we can communicate something concrete. And so I've chosen things that fit into the algorithm of measurement, scientific evidence, and then repeat.
Interesting. So before we go into kernels, I want to definitely go there. I absolutely love the non-invasive way of it. What's the word?
Imaging.
That's it. That's really fascinating. We're definitely going to go there in a second. Breath work. Do you do breath work?
I do.
Really, as a daily practice?
Yep, I do. And I measure my heart rate variability of my nervous system. And so I guess in my responses to your questions, I like things that I can measure. Because then you have a baseline of where you're at. You can see whether you're improving or not. You can look at scientific evidence and see if it's working or not. What is... Okay, so this is a thought experiment that I do frequently with people. So let's imagine we're in a social situation. We're having fun. I turn to someone and I say, hey, friend, I'm trying to be better hydrated. What should I do to be better hydrated? And like, this is casual and it's fun.
Yep.
Typically, the person would say like...
Drink water.
Okay, water. And how much water?
Yeah. No, 3 liters a day.
Yeah, 3 liters. Okay. And then like when they say 3 liters a day, then they'll run in their mind. They'll be like, I have this hydro flask. I take it around with me everywhere I go.
Yeah.
I drink 2 or 3, but I'm in the bathroom all the time. My friend Susie, she has a pink one. Her dog barks at the pink one all the time. Her mom, she's pretty hydrated. She's doing pretty well. She just had this health issue, right? And they just run and they forget they're talking about how much water to drink. So they run, comes back and say, great, thank you. Have you ever seen any evidence about how much water somebody should drink? And they think, well, I think I read something on a blog post once. Like, have you actually seen the data? No. Okay, let's do this again. We're having a fun conversation. I want to be better hydrated. Friend, how much water should I drink? Now, if they're paying attention, they'll say, I don't know. If they're not, they'll go back and be like, well, I think probably like 3 liters or whatever, or 8 cups.
Absolutely, they won't repeat it.
8 cups a day. But the point in the whole thought experiment is, if we are aware when we're parroting common wisdom, and when we're speaking of something we actually know because we've seen evidence or data, the majority of our interactions, we parrot.
Yes.
And then that does everyone a disservice, because then people are walking away with these conclusions which are not accurate. And so everything with Blueprint, I try to stay away from things at that level, and we only speak directly to things which we can know. And it helps keep things very clean, because health and wellness is a lot like religion, where the guru says what they say, it's accepted as a spiritual truth, but then there's no evidence about whether it works or not. And then people are so confused because you have a bunch of gurus saying things which no one can verify. And so I'm trying to punch through to say, the era of gurus is over. The era of data is arrived. Gurus no longer matter. Evidence is king.
Evidence is king. There's something about that I just love. Well, that's why in my book, Be It To Become It, I talk about the science behind everything. There are so many studies in the book. Everything I say is backed up through a study at Harvard, at this place, at that place, and here's the study, here's the study, here's the study, and MRI scans show this, and this scan shows that, and it shows the movement on the brain, etc. But they've shown and proven with evidence that meditating, and they've shown through MRI and epi scans, etc., they've shown that you can have an improved brain state. You can improve your well-being through meditation. Yeah. So surely that would be one that you believe in.
There's a whole bunch of questions. What kind of meditation, over what practice, how well are they doing? Are they, so this general idea that, somebody who's doing this mindful thing they studied, sure, but there's so many details to then translate to the person who's doing it. To me, it needs to reach to a level of specificity of, here's the practice, here's the duration, here's how you measure it, here's how you verify whether it's working for you or not.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's hard to build in a methodical way where everyone systematically improves. And that's the problem with most of what we do today is people move from thing to thing, not knowing if anything works. And it's also, I think, why we've been able to achieve, potentially the best results ever done in anti-aging. Is we've done this systematically with evidence, with the protocols. And that's what I'm trying to push through is, I'd like to say Blueprint is the best health protocol created in the history of the world. Now, if I'm wrong, prove me wrong with your data.
I love that.
Now, and if someone does, great. It makes me excited because that's what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a competition for people to compete with data. And so if someone beats me, I feel like we've won because now people have two options to choose from, this and that. But it would lessen the noise from guru-like discussion and elevate data.
That's wonderful, data-driven. And you're very data-driven because Kernel, let's talk about Kernel now. I think it's fascinating what you created and how does it work? And for someone listening, what is Kernel?
Kernel is a bike helmet you put on your head and it images your brain. So if you think about this, like if you went to the doctor and you're like, I am interested in the health of my heart. And the doctor says, okay, quiet your mind, listen to your heart. You'd be like, doctor, I really want my blood pressure measured. I want a blood panel. I want to know our arterial plaques and an EKG. Like we're not going to fall for it, right? Like we know we can't just feel our heart. But when it comes to our brain, we think we can feel our brain when that's just not the case.
No.
And so we need a device that measures the brain so we can ask questions. For example, what happens when the brain consumes 4 hours a day of social media? Or what happens when someone drinks, sugar drinks all day, every day? Or like pose any question about the brain, we just don't know because we don't have the technology that can do it systematically in a broad enough population to give us really good data. So the technology, like MRIs, they're great, but they're too expensive and difficult. You're in a coffin-like environment, and EEG is not good enough. And so we built the technology in the past 5 years that is the first technology ever built that can image every brain on the planet. It's that good. So the technology's done. We're now trying to do first market demonstration, which is going to be hard. So like doing this is extraordinarily hard. It's not certain we'll succeed. We're trying our best. But being able to measure our brains would, I think, transform society. Then we could pose this question and have a baseline. What's happening in our brain when?
Oh, which is so powerful because we do all these things in our day and we have no idea how they're affecting us. Yeah. And like you said, then we go from one thing to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. You try all these things. When I was healing myself of the autoimmune disease that I had many years ago, I was like, oh, I'm just going to try everything. I still don't know the exact one thing that did it because I tried 5 things at once. Yeah. You just have no idea. Yeah. Something worked though out of those 5 things I was doing. Was it the meditation? Was it the grounding? Was it the diet? Was it a combination? Be so good. I really want to try that. You have one here?
Not here.
Okay, I have to come and I have to do it one day.
Yeah.
I want to.
They're all in the clinical trial, but we've used all in our clinical trials.
That you do it on yourself regularly?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'd love to hear Hey, my name is Natasha Graziano. I would love to invite you to my book club, which is hosted every week live on Zoom with me and loads of VIP coaches that we bring in every time for you. VIP coaches like John Assaraf from The Secret, Michael Beckwith from The Secret, and some of my A-list stars and Selling Sunset girls that you may know of. I can't wait to get to know you. I can't wait to help you unlock the code to the law of attraction, unlock the code to abundance, unlock the code to what you truly want in your life. You see, it's just literally a switch. Once I learned to turn it on, my life changed dramatically. I went from a girl who had nothing in the bank account, hundreds of thousands in debt. I was a girl who was kind of trapped in her own mind. I guess I thought life was as it was and it would never get any better and money would never come into my life. And then I turned on the code to the law of attraction, understanding the neuroscience behind it, understanding the ancient wisdom behind it, and my life changed dramatically. And here I am now showing you how you too can transform your life. When you come, you'll be around other successful entrepreneurs, other people who are also wanting to better their life. I can't wait to show you how you too can better your life. Come and join us. It's all available inside of the app. Click the link below and I'll see you there. So, okay, what's a personal story that you found from using it? What have you found the when?
Yeah.
You know, what fills in the blank for you personally?
I was a participant in a pilot study for ketamine.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about this. Is it really what it... Okay, go on.
Yeah, I mean, it's a horse tranquilizer. It's a party drug.
Oh, it makes me so nervous even hearing it.
It's used, so it's a lot of things, but it's been used for the treatment of depression. So there's been a lot of ketamine clinics. And so there are some studies showing what ketamine does to the brain, but in an isolated way. And so what we wanted to show was what ketamine does to the brain. So we measured my brain every day for 5 days, then during ketamine, and then after ketamine for 30 days. And so we could answer for the first time ever, what happens to someone's brain when they take ketamine? And so we had my data over 35 days, and we got to see all the changes in my brain patterns. And so that's cool, because otherwise the only other way to find out what happens to your brain with ketamine is to say, hey, what's your experience? And you would tell me your feelings and your reflections, which are totally inaccurate, right? You're going on your emotions and your memory, which is faulty. In the same way, like, tell me about your heart over the past month. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so it's a way to baseline. Then you can pose a question on anything. What happens when I take this Parkinson's drug or this Alzheimer's drug? Or when does cognitive decline start? Or what is anxiety or depression? Like, all these questions we care about, we just don't have a way to get high quality brain data that informs this. And so the ketamine study was really cool.
So, okay, you used the Kernel headwear to do the study on the brain. 2 questions. One, what did it feel like taking ketamine every day? But obviously it was a medical grade, so it was a completely different. And how did you feel in the long run from that after 1 month on it, as opposed to not being on it? And then what did the brain scan show for you?
Yeah. It showed that we have networks in our brain that get pretty tightly fixed. And then ketamine kind of washes away those networks and kind of makes your brain fresh.
Right.
And it dips on day 2, and then it starts crawling back up. So like on day 5, 6, my networks are kind of back in their configuration.
Yep.
But it creates this opening where my brain is different than it was before. And so the funny thing is, so my team and I were walking in our office. I decided this is on day 2.
Yeah.
Instead of walking around the wall, I decided to just jump over the wall. And at the moment, it made sense to me. My team's like, what's Bryan doing? Like, why is he jumping over walls? And so they now joke that, like, this ketamine has this experience of reconfiguring paths. In this case, I was jumping over walls and walking around. But it was just a funny thing that I was unaware. I just thought it was a good idea in the moment to jump over the wall. But
were you just filled with energy like Superman, or just like...
It was really energizing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so it wasn't like a downer. It wasn't like one of those.
It was refreshing. It felt like the data showed. It washed me out, and then it slowly built back up. But it could be used to show like when interventions are helpful. So you do ketamine. When would therapy be a good time to engage? Try to rebuild your thought patterns, and then try to stick that change. And so it opens up the possibility of knowing when to do certain things. And it showed my patterns in my brain of what they're doing and how they change in response to it. So it was useful because anyone who's building something for the brain, whether it be a drug or food or a social interaction or whatever, you want to know what your thing does to the brain. And then you can build around that with that data.
Wow, Kernel sounds phenomenal. It's just, I hope it comes quickly to market so people can all benefit from that. We'll put a link again to Kernel below so we can dive in. What about oxygen therapies? Do you do any of that stuff?
We just completed an analysis of HBOT, hyperbaric chambers.
Yes. And
we decided not to proceed forward. We found evidence to show that it was good in some acute settings, but we couldn't find evidence to show it had longevity benefits.
We had one for a while, left it in our other house. I'm really interested in them now. I feel that the one that I'm really into is on the treadmill with an oxygen mask, running for 10 minutes straight, really actively. That seems to reoxygenate my cells. I've looked at the studies behind it, and it to me seems and feels better. Have you ever done that?
I haven't.
Oh, I'm going to show you something,
okay,
which is unusual because usually you show everyone. So it's on the treadmill. You have your oxygen mask on with the oxygen machine. 10 minutes only of just jogging, running on the machine, and that's it.
Yeah.
That is your workout, your cardio, it's so good for your cells, and the studies behind it are phenomenal. I'll have to show you and introduce you to it.
Cool.
Do you work out more than once a day, not once a day?
Once a day for an hour.
And I've seen some of your videos, and it's like every single muscle in your body, right?
That's right. Flex and stretch every muscle in your body.
How do you know though that like you're using like this muscle or like this muscle? Like
That's true. I don't. Yeah.
But you just hope that you're really going to the
Yeah, it's
core
like
of it.
35, and I guess there's probably muscle groups I don't get. If I don't get them, I'm not sure where they're at, because the range of the things I'm doing for flexibility, strength, and cardio, it's pretty comprehensive. I'd say with the exercise, like we're like 80% there. Like I haven't optimized to the 100%.
Yeah.
It's really about getting the science we were going after is we're looking at markers like VO2 max and other things. So we're optimizing for what we can know for the science, but it's basically, I think, hit the threshold of what we're trying to achieve.
Very interesting. So I find it really hard to work out heavily on an empty stomach. I think that's probably because of what I went through in the past, where it was a hyperactive thyroid, which is very like, very like this. And I'm super high tempo anyway. So I have to find my zen in between, going from like on stage screaming to like here. So maybe that has something to do with why I can't work out without eating. I just feel depleted. I can do yoga, Tai Chi, that vibe, right? But anything that's like too many sun salutations in yoga, too many in a row, can be taxing without eating. Do you work out without eating, and what are the benefits of eating with or without working out with or without food?
I drink 20 ounces of water. I drink the Green Giant, which is 20 ounces, collagen peptides, cinnamon, creatine, amino acids, chlorella powder for spermidine, and then I take 60 pills, and then I work out.
All in one go?
4 goes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's nuts. So I take 15 at the moment, and I try and space them out as well throughout the day. There's the morning, the evening.
Right.
And there's so many, I can't wait to see your pill collection. I bet it's nuts. Mine's like, and it takes so long to put them into sections.
I know.
Yeah, it's crazy. My friend hired somebody to come over to his house and put all the pills in the right boxes for 3 months, and they're in these little, so when he goes out, not a problem, they're ready to go.
Ready to go.
God, that's the best thing. What do you do when you go to a restaurant? Okay, so let's say you were going on a date. What would you do?
I would save up 500 calories.
Okay.
And then I would order steamed vegetables.
Nice. Oh, so that's kind of what I do. I'm just like, but I do fish. So I'm like, I'll have a fish with it, nothing on it. Olive oil. Where's your olive oil from? I mean, when people sit in restaurants with me, they're like, oh God, here we go. And I'm like, just be prepared. It's going to be no dairy, gluten allergy, this. And it's like, I go through everything. I'm like, steam the vegetables,
Yeah.
It's similar.
I try not to be extra. So I try not to create a social burden for people. So it's just like, I'm good. I'll just steam my vegetables. And I just, because people, they're thoughtful about me. They're kind, right? And they're like, what do you need, Bryan? Is this going to be okay? It's like, people are very considerate. And I just don't want them to feel burdened by my presence. I'm like, I'm totally good. I'm extremely happy. All good. Eat whatever you want.
So
I'm going to get a couple vegetables. I'm just happy.
I love that. Well, I'm extra as fuck. So I literally sit in a restaurant. I'm like, you're going to love, but I'm a woman, so I can probably get away with it more. And I'm just like, yes, this is going to be a nightmare for you, but for me, it's going to be what I'm used to. Yeah. That's so funny. Okay, wow. So actually, and people often ask, and they ask me this, and mine's not even half as strict as your, protocol. Do you have fun with it? My answer is yes. Like this is what I know. I don't know when I had it recently, someone come into my house to do some cooking for me. They made these elaborate meals with sauce. And I was like, what is sauce? I don't know sauce from like 10 years. I can't do sauce. It's not. And they think they're impressing you with these elaborate meals, but that's not fun for me. Fun is keeping to the regime and me being like, knowing that I'm feeling my best every day. Yeah. I've had to actually overcome, like, I think I had
This is therapy. This went to therapy.
Yeah, for sure. This is definitely, people often say, I think, well, not often anymore. I'm in a different place now, but like people who are around me a lot, like, I feel like food could be some PTSD around it or something. Like, and I'm like, yeah, there was, but I think
This is good.
I'm trying to overcome the food things so that I can because I get more stressed about what I'm eating, and then the stress is going to kill you faster than the rest of it. So like, you have to find a way to just go into a zen. But you have fun with what you do, right?
I do. I've never been happier in my entire life. Yeah.
Good. That's how I feel about what I do. And you love hearing the plane. You're a pilot. You love flying planes.
I do.
For fun.
For fun, yeah. I mean, so that's the other thing about Blueprint, that there was like a moment where I was flying an airplane and I had my hands on the controls, it's like left, right, up, down, trying to keep it in the perfect attitude. And then I flipped on the autopilot and the plane's like sat straight up, like perfect posture. And I thought, that's what I want for myself. I want an autopilot for myself. That was a time in my life where I was really struggling to do the right thing. And that's like, I've tried to build my autonomous self. Like we built autopilot for airplanes, we're building it for cars. Makes sense next for humans. Like it's this natural progression of these autopilot systems that run. So yeah, I love airplanes, and it's one of my favorite things to do.
I love that. Flying is so fun. I've never flown a plane myself. I have a couple of girlfriends who are pilots, actually, which is unique. I feel there's less women doing it. It looks really fun. And a couple more questions, just it's so intriguing. So when you got the world record for bringing down your biological age, what were you doing every day? Just give me like a day-to-day of what it was. Yeah,
I think that the marker that's most interesting to me is I've slowed my speed of aging the equivalent of 31 years. So now, I accumulate aging damage slower than the average 10-year-old. So most people don't realize humans accumulate aging damage throughout their entire lives. But the older you get, the more damage you accumulate. So it's a curve of like almost exponential, where that's why when people get older, it just compounds so fast.
Yes.
And so you want to accumulate aging damage at the slowest possible pace. So my last score was 0.69, which I guess I could say in like a generalized way, for every 12 months that passes, I age for 8 months and I get 4 months for free.
Wow.
So I get September, October, November, December for free.
This. I love that. You get like 4 months of the year for free.
And so it really helps cement in the mind that in the same way you understand how much money you have in your bank account, how much you weigh, and how many social media followers you have, you would also know by default your speed of aging. That's just something you could share with a friend that you meet up with, and the person's like, oh, mine's point blank. And you're like, oh, okay, what are you doing? So it's just a conversational thing. My dad just got his first speed of aging score after being on Blueprint, and he did really well. And he was just like over the moon about it because he's been working so hard on his health.
Oh, that's fantastic.
To see that data of, he's 70 years old.
Wow.
And to see evidence of like it's working whole body is one number. But yeah, so I guess that's the one I like. And so what I'm doing for that is every day starts the night before. I go to bed at the exact same time. I'm currently 4 days away from a 2-month streak of getting perfect sleep, according to Whoop.
Wow.
I'm working very hard on sleep.
Your REM state, all of this? Oh, I wanted to well sleep for a minute after. Yeah.
So sleep, and then I do a 4-hour routine every morning. So I wake up around 5, and then for 4 hours I do my whole thing. So it's 2 meals, exercise, some therapies, but every day. And then I work throughout the day, do a few more therapies at night. But it's very regimented, where it's predictable, it's routine, it's systematic. So my whole life needs to be, because we pack in so many things. If I don't have this regimented state, there's no way we could do as many things that we're doing.
No, absolutely. I love that. And then what if you're having friends over or with your kids? And like, I'm a mom, so I know, they can throw us off. So, I mean, I know my son's 6, so it can definitely, at 6 years old, it can be like, whoa, in the middle of your regime, like it totally is different to when they're a bit older. And how do you fit in the balance of life and that?
I have 3 little kids. I have 3 kids.
You do?
Yep, I do.
Oh, sweet. How old are they?
19, 17, and 13.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, so they're probably that age where you can really like hang out with them.
Yes.
That's really
my 19-year-old's at college. My 17-year-old is here. Like my 17-year-old and my daughter's with her mother.
Yeah.
But my 17-year-old and I, we're best friends. Like we do everything together.
I think I've seen him on your Instagram.
Yeah, we just pal around.
So cool.
We do everything together.
I
It's
love
the
it.
best.
And he's into this too. He does all this with you.
He does, yeah.
So when he's probably like on it most of the time, and then
yeah. But like a funny interaction we had, like we have some nice. Our relationships are beautiful. My kids and I, we've never been in a fight our entire lives.
What?
Never. Like we have a way we figure out how we've not had a fight. And so a funny thing though, we have these nice boundaries where my 17-year-old was doing something in the kitchen and he posed the question to me, and my 19-year-old said, Talmadge, Dad's like the Supreme Court. Your question was not going to the Supreme Court. Like you've had to go through like the district judge and then the Superior Court but I guess they are very thoughtful kids, and they realize that I spend an enormous amount of time in my mind thinking about a whole bunch of things, and that particular question was something he could absolutely solve on his own. And so I really love the culture of the family where people are playfully and lovingly doing these things, because you're right. Like sometimes kids just overpower everything.
Yes.
And they bring the world to their knees.
Yes.
And it's very difficult. And so to build boundary conditions to say we have a culture of sleep in our family.
Yes.
Where we go to bed at the same time every night.
Yeah.
No one gets anyone up at night for any reason, unless you're vomiting or something.
Yeah.
We all go to bed and we stay asleep. Like these nice boundary conditions to say we value our health and wellness, and we're going to be around each other all the time, and we're going to be cheerful and happy because we take care of ourselves. Does not mean we're not going to have problems, like sure, but just nice expectations of each other, because we're going to be like each other because we live around each other.
That's so beautiful. I love that. Sleep is very important. A lot of people don't understand it. So when I have gatherings at my house, I'm very much on the ball with sleep. And if there's a late night, I make sure it's a Saturday. And late for me, I mean, I don't remember the last time I went to bed after midnight. I mean, I really don't. I go to bed every night at 9:30.
Yeah.
It's not regimented to a specific time, but I know at 9:30 I'm in bed and it's lights off.
Yeah.
So I aim that. What's your time? I'm guessing 9 probably.
8:30.
8:30. So okay, I'm with you. And that's it. You're just like, do you watch TV at night?
It depends. So every night, my son and I, we get together around 7:30 here in the room.
Yeah.
And then it's just our hangout time. It's
Nice.
our special sacred time. We stretch, talk, watch something, like we'll do something, but we remove the world from our minds and we just hang out with each other. So we go to bed with a restful mind. We're not ruminating on everything going on. But if we watch something, we have blue light blocking glasses on. I'll be doing sometimes HRV therapy or stretching or whatever the case may be. But we have this ritual every single night is our sacred time. And then when 8:30 arrives, actually it's not, like when 8:15 arrives, we stop everything we're doing. We run to our bedrooms. And we do this as like this funny ritual. Like we want to say we both appreciate sleep very much.
Yeah.
We take it very seriously because life moves according to how we sleep. The difference between hope and despair is a good night's sleep. And then we have a great time doing it. Like it's just a nice tradition, ritual, and we consistently knock out high quality sleep.
I love that. And that is the most important thing. Sleep is everything.
Everything.
People have no idea about it. And if you have too much sugar in the evening, caffeine, I don't drink, but if you have anything like that, or you have alcohol or anything that's going to throw off your sleep, why in the evening? It's like, do you drink alcohol?
I don't.
No wine?
No.
So I never tried alcohol until I was 26. I still have never tasted a spirit. I don't know what it's like. But I don't know what I'm missing, and I don't really want to know. I don't really care. But I tried wine at 26. I was so late to the party of understanding what alcohol was. And it's amazing how our body actually rejects things naturally that probably aren't good for you. Okay. Fire round of 2 more things which are fun. So what's one thing you wish that your mom or dad, if applicable, either way, knew about you?
Now or when I was a kid?
Whenever.
Yeah. My parents are wonderful. I wish it would have been more of a cultural norm when I was growing up. I grew up eating sugar cereal, soda, outside in the sun all the time without sun protection. I shot guns with no ear protection, causing myself hearing damage. we were a typical American family in the 1980s, and we had a great time. I'm also a little saddened that I did so much wreckage to my body. And so now with my children, I really try to say, like, get you off to life on your best foot forward. So I guess I wish I would have, I wish cultural norms would have been different growing up.
That's a beautiful answer. What's the main device that someone should get in life now to bring down their biological age?
A piece of paper and a pencil that they can keep track of the number of things they do on a daily basis that meet the SAD score, self-aided destruction. So every time they overeat, every time they eat junk food, every time you miss your bedtime, every time you drink alcohol, smoke, binge on social media, binge on entertainment, anytime you do something that you know is not good for your health and you're just doing it because you're doing it, to notch a number and to record how many times in a given day you're doing things that accelerate your aging, decay, and decline.
Gosh, that is so good. Oh my goodness. I feel like I could talk to you for hours, but now I'm really excited to go and see the clinic, understand the sort of environment and the surroundings and how you live your life. And yeah, I just want to dive in and show you guys in the audience what it is like in your world. So I'm so excited to dive in. Good for that?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So here we go. Let's dive in. This is the food protocol. Tell us more.
This is what we've designed as the perfect diet. That does not mean it's the only way to achieve perfect nutrition, but it's what we've done for this protocol. So every morning I'll wake up, I'll drink the Green Giant.
Which has?
This has I'm going to do this a little bit. It has collagen peptides, spermidine, creatine, amino acids, and cinnamon. And so I'll take this. Actually, why don't you try it?
Yes, I would love to. Thank you. It's delicious.
Yeah, I agree.
That's so delicious.
It's delicious too, it is, yes.
Yeah, it is delicious. I would so drink this.
So that plus this is morning.
Holy mouse bomb.
Yeah, it's a lot.
60?
Yeah, it's about that. It changes all the time, so like 60-ish. And then I'll work out for an hour and then come in and eat this for breakfast. This is super veggie, which is black lentils, broccoli, cauliflower, mushrooms, ginger, garlic. So
Smells amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So over a month, it'll be 70 pounds of vegetables that you'd eat. And then on this, I drizzle extra virgin olive oil. And it's the same as I told you about chocolate. It has to go through all these different specifications. And then chocolate. So if you want to try this.
You get this for dessert?
So I put this on super veggie. So I pair it with vegetables, which doesn't seem to make sense on the outside, but it actually is delicious. Go ahead and have at it in the chocolate.
Oh, really?
What do you think of?
Well, I love the flavor. They're divine.
Yeah, it's 100% pure. So most people find it to be bitter, but I agree, I love it.
So does all chocolate have caffeine in?
I'm not sure if like milk chocolate, and I'm not sure. This one does for sure.
Which is divine. Okay, so you put this on the food.
Yes. You can have it independently as well, though. It's delicious.
It's so delicious.
15 grams a day, so roughly a tablespoon.
Okay.
And yep, but it's a surprisingly good pairing. So that, and then an hour later, I'll eat this, which is nutty. Oh, do you want to try this?
Yes, I so do. Oh my god.
Okay, so let's do this.
Oh my god, this looks so good. Okay, I'm trying to make sure.
Yeah, let me get you a knife as well.
Okay, this is so fun. I'm so excited about this. I love healthy food. And I really love things like this, which are interesting. Thank you. Okay, let me get a real combo.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good bite. Every day, I love this dish.
This is so divine. Look, the chocolate with the mushroom.
And the olive oil.
So you put the olive oil on. Is it the same olive oil every day?
Yes.
Breakfast, which is the delicious green juice.
Yes, that's right.
Pre-breakfast, after to break the fast. Oh, do you intermittent fast?
Yes, so I finish eating by about 11 to 12 a.m. 11 a.m. to noon.
You start eating again?
I finish. So I do the drink when I wake up, 5, 6, and then I finish eating 6 hours later. Again, I think it's reasonable to say this is the most nutritionally dense diet you could ever have in your life. Now, certainly there's other things that someone could do, but prove it with your data.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean,
right. So
really,
therefore, the blueprint is the number one in the world because it hasn't been proven otherwise.
Exactly. So I hope others disprove it. But again, like this, if you adopted this, it could potentially be really beneficial for you.
I love it. Okay, so that's breakfast,
breakfast.
at 6 a.m.
After working out, like around 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's 3 hours after you wake up.
Ish, yeah.
Because you've done that, which is enough for the working out.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And then this is nutty pudding. This is macadamia nuts, walnuts, flaxseed, sunflower lecithin, berries, pea protein, and 2 ounces of pomegranate juice.
Oh my gosh, okay. And do you get your fruit and veg from a particular, are you very, like, is it a farmer's market? Or do you, where, how do you know what you're buying?
Yeah, market and store.
Okay.
Yeah, all organic.
I'm so excited for this. And this is lunch? Snack?
Yeah, this is second meal of the day.
Second meal.
So I guess it's in between breakfast and the last meal of the day.
Okay. Are you kidding me? I can have that as a meal?
Exactly.
Oh my god, it's so delicious!
So the thing about this is it's just so sad when you have your last bite. That's the thing.
I'd be like...
That's sad. So the worst part about this dish is when you're finished with it.
How do you know the exact proportions to make? Oh my god, I can't. This is so good.
Yeah. Every calorie has to fight for its life. So everything is extremely precise. We just select from among 150 different vegetables.
Mm-hmm. Wow, look at that.
It's like sweet potato, beans, peppers.
And how do they know what to make you prepare, like, your list out so it's really clear?
Yeah, so we just have a whole bunch of stuff. So we use this for variety.
Yeah. Oh my god, this is divine. I love it. What a treat for the body.
Yeah,
Thank
and then
you.
you would take this, you take these additional 30, 40 pills.
So you take those within the 6-hour frame as well?
Yep, so 100
so I
pills.
can take my supplements closer together than I think.
I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I always wonder, I wonder if, like, and the supplements you know to take because of the markers.
Exactly.
And it changes month to month, probably.
Exactly, yeah.
How often do you do your markers?
Depends on the measurement. So like my sleep is every night, weight every day, MRI whole body once a year, like every organ.
Yeah.
Ultrasound once a quarter. So every measurement has its own frequency.
And you're measuring to see the biological age of it.
Yes, exactly. We're looking at
Epigenetics.
every variable. We're generating hundreds of markers every quarter.
Wow. Fascinating. So that's the food regime.
Yep, and we'll package these up so you can have
Oh,
both.
divine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so we go to the clinic.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
We, as a principle, we measure everything.
Yeah.
So if we can't measure it, we don't do it.
Yeah.
So in this case, this is looking at your skin age
Okay.
on your face.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd put your chin here and your forehead here.
Yeah.
This is multispectral imaging, and it would look at your skin and age your skin through 10 different parameters, like reds, browns, pore size, UV damage, and so it gives you an age of how your skin is doing. So a lot of the damage that's done to the skin you can't see with the naked eye. So these devices are for skin.
Okay.
So this is a laser. This is professional grade laser, 2 wavelengths, and we try to do whole body once a month. This is called
Laser for when you say full body. So what for?
Yeah, for skin health. So
Oh.
the skin is the largest organ in the body, and there's multiple ways to treat the health of the skin.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so this all over the body. Is it a little bit like laser hair removal?
Yes,
Does it hurt?
it does.
Oh, so it's
A lot.
exactly the same. It's that the flashing
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, this one. Yeah.
Ah, yes,
these-
so I've done that on my face where it's like that light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people use it for the tightening of the skin.
Yes.
They do it for skin clarity. They do it for collagen production. You can do it to eliminate skin imperfections, scars. Like there's all kinds of things you can do. It's a medical grade ultrasound, so people are familiar with this. Look at babies in the womb.
Yeah.
But we do this for the whole body,
Mm-hmm.
so it's really cool. We can do all the organs: the pancreas, the liver, the lungs, the heart. We have different experts who look at all the different parts of the body, and it's really nice. It's easy. We can do it frequently. Like for example, when I got COVID, we've been doing measurements of my whole body for all these years, so we got to see in real time what happened to my body with COVID. It's
Wow.
it's bad. It's really bad. we should take COVID very seriously. We saw how badly it affected my lungs and my heart.
Goodness. And on the outside, away from the scans, did you feel
No,
like...
I didn't do anything.
You're kidding. So the effect was just deeper rooted. And
Exactly.
you could... Oh, that's terrifying.
This
So
goes back to the
really
idea, like why you want to measure the brain, why you want to measure the body. What we can feel is a fraction of what's really going on. And so it's really important to have awareness of all these measurements, because then it really illuminates what the best things are to do. Yes, this is fun.
So men do this too?
Yes, I have been doing it. So we got it to kind of play around for muscle strength overall, and this was kind of cool. And so what we're trying to solve for is I get up at night, on average, I go to the bathroom 1 time per night. I want to go to the bathroom 0 times per night, because I don't want to wake up at all. And so we wondered if we increased my pelvic floor strength, if my bladder control would be better. If I had better bladder control, if I wouldn't get up. And that's been true. So it's lessened the number of times I get up and enter the bathroom because I have better bladder control. So you're just going to move around in the chair until you find the right spot.
Okay.
And so what it's going to feel like is, imagine you're trying to hold in flatulence. If you find the right spot on there, it's just going to feel like it just tightens everything up.
Okay.
So,
so I'm meant to feel like it tightens.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to hit go.
Okay.
And then you can just move around.
Okay.
It's going to be a little shocking initially.
Yeah. Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Oh my god, this is so odd. It feels like shooting of needles almost into your legs. Okay, so what am I meant to do?
Slide around.
Yeah.
Until you find your spot.
Where it...
Move your bottom around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until...
Move it up, move it back. If you want to find the right place, move up a little bit.
This way?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, it's meant to be on my... Oh, yeah.
Now sit back.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay, so that feels like... am I meant to suck in now? Or does it for you?
Yes.
Oh, it's so odd!
A lot of women who have babies are trying to rebuild strength.
Yes.
And that is...
That's the thing to do. So the only way to describe that experience was like... actually like laser, you know, and that like that shock of, well, you know exactly what it is. So when the shock of laser hits you, and there's like into it, and it felt like into that whole area, which is so bizarre because nothing ever goes near like that's like wow, so different. I wouldn't have even... You
lose control, like you can't control your muscle contractions.
No.
It just takes it over and your body's just responding to this.
And so that helps, like where women go, like I don't know if men do it too, but like with women you can go in, out. And so when you breathe in, you're sucking it up, and then I guess your perineum like up all the way in, out, and like I'm doing it now, you wouldn't know, like in, out, right? Is that the same for men?
Yes.
Oh, okay, it's the same thing. So that does that for you. How do you spin your own blood here?
We have a centrifuge.
Oh.
We can drop spin. But we just have everything we need to be a full-on clinic. Yeah, and so here's the test you can have.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so you can do this, and you can compete at rejuvenationolympics.com. So you can try to be a rejuvenation athlete.
Oh, wow.
And rank.
Yeah.
For your speed of aging.
Oh, that's so fun. Okay, well, that will help me to get more competitive against myself.
Yes.
To do it.
It's always, humans love to compete.
Yeah.
Love to compete with numbers. So this is a way to have a number, so we're not just
Yeah,
talking
thank you.
randomly about this and that.
Amazing. And will it tell me what supplements to take after as well?
It'll tell you your speed of aging.
Speed of aging,
So
okay.
like overall, like in the entirety of everything you're doing in your life, how are you doing? Because you'll see how fast your body's aging.
Wow, that's fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome. No.
So this is the one that's accurate.
This speed of aging, we like it because this is built on a longitudinal study out of New Zealand, 5 decades now. So it has good data and is responsive to lifestyle interventions. So when you do caloric restriction, it changes. When you do certain interventions, it changes. So you see there's a reliable cause and effect to this of how your body's responding. We like it. A lot of the epigenetic clocks are still silver standard. They're not yet gold standard. This one we like a lot.
Okay, wonderful.
It's not perfect. It's not perfect.
Yeah.
But we like it a lot.
I want to see one that works because I did one here, one there. They were wildly different.
Yeah.
And that made me, you know, my mum came to me and she said she's actually younger than me in her biological age, and I thought, geez, well, which test are you doing?
Yeah.
You know.
Don't
yeah.
worry.
I'm gonna do this one.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So fantastic. Well, thank you for showing us around the amazing clinic and your day to day and how you stay superhuman and, you know, advance yourself in such a way. And, you know, it's amazing.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I hope it was helpful.
Thank you. It was a wonderful experience. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.